And that's why I knew it was imperative. The fact that I took a leap of faith, well, without the leap part, I took a step, I took a climb of faith
There you go.
up to the top of the bridge. And if I did that and it didn't get any type of traction at all, that would have been really disheartening. And it is kind of disheartening because I thought it would have got more. Like
that was actually my next question.
Yeah, so I thought it would have got more. And even if what had been shared out, it was at least mentioned about the project, it would have gained more traction. But there was a deliberate effort from every major news agency on the Canadian side to shut it down and make sure everybody knew it was a terrible idea, which I agree, terrible idea. In terms of if you do not, like I calculated from the banner, like I made sure the printer had a mesh banner that wind was just going to flow right through that sucker so that it would not fly off the bridge. In fact, when I tethered it onto the bridge, I had a safety from the backpack, a safety onto the banner. I put the banner on and then I removed the safety. So like there was a lot of work going into making sure that people's lives were not at risk with that.
Except the part where if you missed a step.
Mine. Yeah, mine. And that's the other thing, like where I chose to climb up, if I was to fall, I do not fall onto the bridge.
Right.
Like when I'm climbing those suspension components, which is funny because a lot of people don't know that I'm afraid of heights. Terrified.
It's I've spent quite a bit of time on that bridge.
Yeah.
Truck driver.
Yeah, of course.
Crossed it plenty of time. Yeah. I made some life decisions on that bridge.
Did you?
Anyway,
yeah.
Anyway.
It's iconic. It's an amazing bridge.
But climbing those those railing, and I mean that was a thing that we talked about as a kid. About like you realize it's somebody's job to climb that thing and change those light bulbs.
Yeah.
Right.
That was what was crazy is people were messaging me like you know, they were a lot older than me, and they're going, "That's awesome! I've always thought about doing that." And then I got one guy that was like, one time after a U2 concert, there's another bridge in Detroit that they were leaving, or like just outside, and he's like, "Yeah, our band climbed up there and we hung this banner off it, whatever, back in the I guess 80s or 90s." And yeah, so it's one of those things that like so many people, I'd say 98% positivity overall, 2% negative on my back end of messages.
But do you think the negativity? I wonder how to ask this question because
sure.
like there's a lot of shit talking.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
So how much, and does it even matter? How much do you think there is behind the scenes sort of like just shit talking?
Oh, I think I love the idea of just trolling. Like I look at life as an experiment. I really, at this point in my life and the stuff the decisions I made and everything I've gone through personally, whatever, I'm just excited to be here. And I'm excited for the opportunity to get to live my life. Right. And so people are you're only based off your perspective. So, you know, if people either have a tendency to look at things immediately as a positive or immediately as a negative. And it's just a product of how you've wired your brain, honestly. And so, you know, if people jump to a negative right away, then, you know, maybe they have family that works on the bridge and things are a lot different now in the security side of things. Right. And people there, I don't think it was a great Monday morning conference meeting over at the bridge that morning because they realized a lot of flaws at the bridge. In fact, somebody's up there for 3.5 hours. Luckily, and the police have this on record of me coming down and going, well, we know it wasn't malicious intent. Well, yeah, it wasn't. And imagine it was somebody that had malicious intent. They had free reign to walk up there. So I think I exposed a big flaw. So when people are negative about that, I don't know if you looked at the Windsor Star article that Dawson had wrote on the Facebook page, but there were about 200 and something comments. I think I commented on at least like 100 and something of them. Everything from the I weight the positivity the same as the negativity, and to me it doesn't really matter either way. Right. So I always am fascinated by people that weight negativity so high but not the positivity, or they weight the positivity so high and not the negativity. It's like, you know, either neutral all around or you can't, you know. And so I would comment back to everybody. Like some of them were like, "Oh yeah, I heard the music's fucking terrible," and I was like, "Yeah, the guitarist is like so fucking bad, like so you literally can't play for shit." And then he messages back. One specifically was like, "Oh, I actually haven't even heard the band yet," and he's like, and then he commented later. He's like, "I checked out the band. It's actually pretty good songs." I'm like, I just try to troll everybody. Any of the negative, I want 1988 to be a very interactive project overall. Every message that has come through, I've messaged everybody. There's been I think there's close to 300 DMs on the Instagram. I message every single person, and not just, "Hey, thanks," it's like, "Hey, conversation." Mm-hmm. And so at the end of the day, the only reason this will ever do well is if people can relate and people can engage, and I invest back into them in some capacity.